Hello and welcome to Adventures in Venueland, an EVMC podcast. Join us for this all-access pass backstage and behind the scenes with some of the brightest minds that cross the scope of the live event industry. I'm Dave Rettelberger.
And I'm Paul Hooper. We'll introduce you to incredible guests who journey with us as we dive deep into the world of venues, tours, festivals, and everything in between. Grab your laminate and meet us in Venueland.
Today's adventure takes us to Oklahoma City. Our guest today is someone living in two timelines at once. She's helping lead the day-to-day story of Paycom Center right now, but she's also helping write the opening chapters of Oklahoma City's brand new downtown arena. Please welcome Lucy Albers. Lucy, about time we got you on Adventures in Venueland.
Yes, I'm so excited. Thank you guys so much for having me.
All right, so tell us what's going on with, as it's often said in the public, the new unnamed arena.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. So it's a lot going on. So we used to have an old convention center and arena right across from where our current Paycom Center is. It was the first arena, big arena built in Oklahoma City decades ago. It opened as the Myriad, and it was several things since then. Paycom Center opened as Ford Center 20 plus years ago. And then a brand new convention center was built in Oklahoma City a few years ago. So that old convention center arena kind of started to fade out a little bit. It turned into a film studio for a couple of years, actually, during COVID, which was super interesting. But then, the city came together with the idea with the Oklahoma City Thunder to build a brand new arena. So we're actually currently still tearing down the old convention center arena. So it's basically kind of like a deconstruction site right now.
Sure.
A deconstruction site. I like that.
Yeah. And it was very interesting because on top of opening a building, we got to close the building, which I don't think a lot of people have necessarily done before.
Did they get you all over there with sledgehammers, kind of like one of those rage rooms?
I really wanted to. I pitched it to them. But they actually allowed the police in to do some tactical training in the building once it was closed. And so they did different like bombs and gunshots and like all these kind of things and really like actually tactically saw what it would do to doors and walls and stuff. And so it was very interesting. They did that in a couple areas, and you went through and it looked at it and everything was just destroyed. It was pretty crazy. So that building is currently coming down. In a few months, the site will start to be cleared and stuff will start going back up in it. So it's a very exciting time around here.
I would have totally had to ride the wrecking ball. Like, I'm going to be on the wrecking ball.
Only if you sang the song, Dave. You have to sing the song with it.
Yeah. You had a closing event?
We didn't necessarily have an event because it was already converted into a film studio. All of the spaces weren't necessarily arena anymore. They were already converted, and we had already moved everybody out. So we weren't really able to hold an event. We did a few things with people in the community. I hosted a couple last tours from old radio station DJs who just wanted to come in another time. And we did a lot of, press around it and had interviews and invited old hockey team coaches and stuff in to kind of come share their memories. So it was still pretty neat though.
And I guess the intent obviously is to build this new arena while the current arena is still active, and then you can make that transition over. You're not going to lose any event days in theory, and that's kind of what you see some cities do, and sometimes they try to do it simultaneously, which is its own nightmare. So I kind of feel like if you have the space, this is the easier way to do it, because you're like, we're building the new one while we've got the old one, and then we can just jump over when we're ready, and you kind of don't have, this weird transition type of thing. So it seems like a great idea.
Yeah, and that was kind of the goal with picking that site too, because the infrastructure is kind of already there.
Sure.
You've got like this hole in the ground that already has a lot of the what you need there. So it will be very interesting. Yeah, we're working up to the opening of that building. It's set to open before the NBA season kicks off in 2028. So hopefully sometime summer 2028, which if you pay attention, Oklahoma City also hosts two Olympic events in the summer of 2028.
Right.
So it's gonna be a good year
Are
for
they
us.
trying to get it open by then? They're like, we got to show off the new toy.
I don't know if we'll be open before the events, but we'll definitely be pretty close around the same time.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Opening up a new building is no small job for those people who've had the pleasure of doing it before.
Totally.
And to be in it from this point, I mean, from the what a great opportunity to be at it from a point where you've kind of got the, you've actually got the time to plan it, but it's also kind of just got to be like weighing on you, like you feel like you've got all this, all this excitement and energy to get things started, but yet you've got to be patient and from
Yeah.
26 to 28.
Yeah, totally. I helped open the Denny Sanford Premier Center in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, a little over a decade ago. So I worked at the old Sioux Falls Arena. So I was there from the minute the city voted to build it to when we broke ground to, the final beam going in and then opening the building. And I was there for several years after. So it is definitely a lot of work. And it's so many things that you don't think about with community events and stuff before because that
Sure.
first event is not actually the first event, right? You
Right,
have
right,
all these little community things that happen, flushing all the toilets,
Yep,
riding
sure.
the
Yeah.
escalators,
right. There's always signage, always. You think you have all
always.
the signage, and then you get there and
Yeah.
you're like, oh my gosh, we didn't think of this or this or
Yeah. And it's literally hosting small groups coming in or small things and taking that feedback and be like, how was navigating? Like, what was it like for you? Because, we get such a one-sided view of like, of course that made sense to me. I just looked for the sign. And we don't always think about how the public doesn't feel the journey the same way.
Sure.
So it's really exciting. I'm very excited about it, about doing it again.
It's a good time for all this excitement. Obviously, your
Yeah,
basketball team has done
we're pretty
pretty
good.
well, pretty
We're
well
pretty
over the
good.
last, yeah, led by former Kentucky great
Yes.
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, who I love, so great. He got that cover I saw on
Yeah.
was it Sports Illustrated or something, which
I
is
got cut out of the
incredible.
photo. I was up in the corner,
I
but I got
know.
cut.
What a cool photo though. I love that. And I saw the wide one that Emily posted that you
Yeah.
could see you all kind of on the
Yeah.
edges.
You can kind
You
of
were
see me
almost
up
on
in
the
the
cover
corner.
of Sports Illustrated. That's closer than
Almost,
it'll
Yeah.
yeah.
ever. That's closer than it'll ever
You're
be.
just
Yeah.
on the trim,
Yeah.
just
When they
off the
sat me in
edge.
that seat, I was like, my knee isn't even making this photo. But like I appreciate you letting me be in it. It's very cool.
No, so cool. I mean, what's that journey been like? Obviously, the Thunder have, had some good years and they've had some down years. They kind of reinvented themselves, got all this young blood, and then I think it takes a little time for those
Yeah.
young people to gel together and like, is this experiment working? And man, they've got a team now. I mean, it's incredible and it's really fun and new energy too.
Yeah. And it's so interesting how their front office really resonates what you see with the team too. Like, I moved to Oklahoma City in 2019, and so it was the era of like Westbrook and
Yeah.
Paul George and stuff like that. So it was still like very hot at the moment. And then it was just within a couple years, we started to lose those players but get all these great picks and trades and stuff. And it was very much presented of like a time of growth. Just be patient with us, Like, yes, it looks like we're losing a lot of the big names, but we're growing such a really cool and important team, one of the youngest teams in the NBA.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was really, I mean, that's exactly what their staff is to work with too, is like they're very focused on the future. And it's like, yeah, we won a championship, but now, life moves on and we're on to the next chapter. And one of their slogans is always onward. So it's been really interesting to be a part of it and get to say that you were a fan of the team from the rebuild,
Yeah, yeah.
instead of just like in the
I
past
believed
year.
in them from the beginning.
I know. Yeah. And it was. Everybody believed. Everybody was like, okay, we're like, we believe in you. I mean, the history of the team in Oklahoma City is so interesting anyways, but
Oh yeah.
like all the fans are like, yeah, we believe. So we're gonna hold on. And you can see that today of the people, the fans that live here in the community and still coming to the games, and it's really cool to be a part of.
So tell me about, the public push, or with the public, the new arena, right? How did it get from somebody's idea of, hey, it's time to maybe think about doing this, to where we are today?
Yeah, so I think a big part of it was because when this current arena was built, it was built as a hockey facility. It was not built as a basketball facility. And so, I mean, you can still go to the floor. We don't actually have a working ice floor anymore, but you can still see like the outline of where the hockey rink used to be. You know what I
Sure.
mean? So I think that was a huge piece of it because when you come into the arena to see a game, it definitely feels like wider than it should be. And so we did do a little bit of a renovation project a few years ago to try to like amplify the seating a little bit because hockey seating is just different from basketball seating. And so we did change that, but it's never going to give you the exact feel of a basketball facility. So I think that was a huge push of it. And obviously just with the success of the Oklahoma City Thunder and wanting to keep them in the city, we wanted to give them a great facility as well. So yeah, I mean, the city and the Oklahoma City Thunder and, Legends Global, the company that manages our facility now, we've all been a big piece of talking about like what the next steps for Oklahoma City were. And a lot of that was the new facility. And so it campaigned, it went to a citywide vote because it is a city building. And it passed with like, I think just over 70%. Like it was an incredible showing.
Yeah, that's great.
People wanted it. And of course, the Oklahoma City Thunder are chipping in for some of the fees of it. And so yeah, it's really good. I think it's going to be a great home for the basketball team. It's going to give you a really like positive basketball feel. It's going to open up the square footage. So it's going to have like much bigger concourses, much better guest path journey, like a cool plaza area, which I'm excited about. We have like no sidewalks around the building. Like we're just so tight in here. So yeah, I think it's going to be really great. It's going to look really cool in the landscape of Oklahoma City. Yeah, it's very exciting.
It'll be a new shiny toy that
It will
will make
be.
everyone jealous, I'm sure, because you'll have the new bells and whistles that are like, oh man, did you see what Oklahoma City has? Oh gosh.
I mean, I hope so. I hope it does. Hopefully, we can represent it well.
Oh
Do we
yeah, I'm
know
sure.
anything about, the new arena yet? I mean, are the things that have been highlighted, or are designs, out there a little bit? Even the naming rights, correct? Also,
Mhm.
all that stuff. Tell us.
Yeah, so the initial renderings are out there. It's a
Cool.
round facility. It's completely like almost like a disc, and it's all glass on the outside.
Ooh.
Completely glass. So if you Google it, you can basically see out from the outside, from anywhere on the outside, you can see directly into the facility, into like the concourses. So I think a lot of that was architecturally to represent the Oklahoma skyline. I mean, our colors here, like the sunsets, the gorgeousness of the skyline was really important. And so they wanted you to basically be able to be in the building and almost feel like you're outside, but also be on the outside and feel like you're inside. Like it was kind of like merging the two. So it's very cool. There's been a lot of talk
I
about
Googled
how
it
that.
as we're talking. It's gorgeous.
It is beautiful, right? I'm totally geeking out over these
Yeah,
pictures.
it almost looks
Yes.
like the design you see with stadiums
It
now.
Yes.
feels stadium
Sure.
like.
Yeah, it's so cool, so
So
visually
it's all
appealing from the
it's just like
outside.
very just completely round. It's a circle
Wow.
basically. And then of course the ceiling will be enclosed, but like the sides will be all windows all the way around. And so we joke a lot about how you're basically going to be on display anytime you walk out into the concourse. And the goal is to not even have anything around the exterior, like on your concourses, how you have food stands and like merch booths or
Sure.
whatever. There's going to be like the goal is to have nothing around the exterior of the building. So you will be able to see through the glass at any point. So everything is kind of on the
Wow.
inside, which is going to be super interesting.
I'm excited
Um,
for you. It looks
Yeah,
gorgeous.
so
It
it's
looks
really
awesome.
good. And just like the layout, obviously, kind of, I don't want to say like smushing, but it brings the fans in a little bit. It doesn't spread it out as much as like you would have for a hockey facility. So the fans are kind of moved
Sure.
in, especially on the end zone. So it's gonna be much more intimate experience, I think, for the fans who will really appreciate that. And then yeah, it's gonna be great. I mean, your typical premium level. I think the goal is to actually open up the premium level a bit, so it'll be kind of accessible from everybody, and even the suites will have like windows to the concourses, so it
Mm.
feels very much like everybody's connected. It kind of makes you want to feel like everybody's in the same space at the same time. So it's going to be really interesting. I don't think a lot of renderings have been released yet for details of the interior, because I think they're still working through a lot of that. But yeah, it's going to be very exciting. It's a very cool building.
And then naming rights. Is there a time when this is going to be revealed? Is it locked in yet?
I wish I knew.
Yeah.
I'm asking
She's
just
like,
as
if
much
you
as
know,
you, because I
tell
would
me.
love to know. No, I mean, Paycom, who has the current rights for our arena right now, has basically said that they're not going to transfer over to the new arena. So, I mean, that could change, or somebody new could come in.
Sure.
Oklahoma City Thunder runs all the sponsorships and stuff like that, so they're working on it. But yeah, I mean, the goal would
You'll
be to
find out
have one soon.
eventually.
But
Yeah. They'll just
yeah,
call it the Oklahoma City Arena
I
forever,
mean
and then
that's yeah, I mean
and
that's
then
what it
all of a
is for right
sudden,
now. And
like a little bit out from opening, they'll be like, now it's the blah blah blah. Yeah,
yeah.
very
So
cool.
Yeah,
then from where the deconstruction site is to where the Paycom Center is, what's the distance?
it's right across the street.
It's literally right across the street. So
You walk out the main entrance and you see the deconstruction site.
so
Yes.
obviously the goal is not to have any interruption into the day-to-day of
Yeah.
Paycom.
Hopefully, yeah, that is the goal. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, because the current arena was built after the arena that is coming down.
Yeah.
Right.
So now that the arena's down, you can see the skyline on the other side. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I've never seen this view from outside of our
Oh,
arena
sure.
before. It's kind of
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
And it's like, well, you're gonna have it for like a year, and then there'll be another building in the way. But
But then you'll be
yeah,
in
it's
that
pretty
new
cool.
building, and you'll have
Yes,
all this
eventually.
glass, so
Yeah,
you'll see
for
it
sure.
again.
You will be the
Yeah,
Yep.
skyline. You'll be defining the
Yes.
skyline.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
I know that there's no real clear answer on what the future of the Paycom Center is, correct?
Mhm. Yes, that's correct. Yeah, I mean, there's talk, I guess, but there's no plan. I mean, we're still focused on building the new arena before we figure out what
Yeah,
happens
let
to
them
this.
get the new one open first, Dave. Calm down.
Yeah,
Gosh.
yeah.
One building at a time,
Yeah.
and then we
I know
can
that
talk
the
about
Oklahoma
the
City
next.
Thunder, have the rights to like buy this property if they want to, and potentially kind of redevelop it into a little bit of an I think
Sure, like a
people would
district.
love to do like a Deer District kind of thing, like an
Oh
entertainment
yeah.
district area, like a pre-game, pre-event kind of space. So I think that would be amazing. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what comes. That's two chapters down, I think.
Well, it's
Yeah.
it's exciting times, and the current chapter is you got to
Mhm.
keep things rolling at the Paycom Center. You guys are busy
100%.
there, and tell us about the Paycom Center and kind of what your role is today.
Yeah, so I'm director of marketing and public relations, this technical role, but we handle everything. Like I said, the Thunder do handle like sponsorships and sales, so thankfully that's not really in my wheelhouse, but we handle everything outside of a Thunder game. So any other event that comes through our building, it's us. We're announcing, we're promoting, and then we're doing all of the back of house experience, the event day experience for the fans. So it's all our team. And when I was brought on staff, I mean, it'll be almost 7 years ago now. They had like one marketer, and they had just hired a second. And now we're a team of four, and we have a booking team of two that we work with. So, it's kind of like six of us tackling it. It's something that, one person kind of used to do. So
Yeah.
it's grown so much.
Yeah, shout out your team. Tell us who's on your team and kind of what their roles are.
Yeah, for sure. So Emily, which EVMC people might know because she won the breakthrough
That's right.
award last year. Gosh, last year already.
Yeah.
So she's our creative marketing manager. So she's, I mean, it's right there. She's the creative, one of the most creative people I've met. So she handles design and helping us come up with like some fun wall wraps and cool, weird artist gifts and stuff like that. And then we've got Talon. He's our digital marketing coordinator. So he lives in all spaces digital, emails, social media, you know, digital marketing, that kind of stuff. And then Asia, she's our newest, even though she's been here for 2 years already. She's our marketing manager that helps handle like all the grassroots street team, like hard promotions. She's the one that's out there every day with me helping sell tickets, really. So I have a really great breakdown of crew.
Yeah.
A lot of great people, and just we sit down every week with our booking team and we just brainstorm ideas, and we're talking back of house, we're talking promotions, we're talking promoter gifts, like whatever we can. We're just all bringing ideas to the table to try to find one that fits.
When you know look at the Paycom Center, give us a little bit of history on that venue and its place in the city.
Yeah. Well, I kind of mentioned like the Myriad was built decades ago, back in the 50s, 60s. And so it was really iconic to Oklahoma City. But I mean, as you guys can guess, by the time 40, 50 years hits, like it gets kind of old. So,
sure.
So they built a new arena. It was important as a hockey facility. And it just brought, I mean, at the time, because like the BOK Center in Tulsa didn't exist yet. Like
Sure.
it was the arena in Oklahoma, essentially. It was like the main spot to go to. So you were already getting such iconic shows at the Myriad, and then to move into a bigger, nicer facility that, this arena was really important for the community. So it's been a mainstay for the longest time. I mean, it's the biggest spot in the region. And then of course, when the Oklahoma City Thunder came in, and for a time we actually hosted the New Orleans team, because they were if you don't know about the history, but the New Orleans team was put out because of Hurricane Katrina, and so they actually moved to Oklahoma City and played several games in our facility while they were rebuilding their facility, and that's kind of how it started, because the community was suddenly like, oh my gosh, NBA is actually really cool. And like
right.
the community really supports this. And then again, for those not familiar with the history, is when the Seattle Supersonics were kind of going through their transition with their arena, and the team essentially got bought and moved to Oklahoma City and renamed as the Oklahoma City Thunder. And so that was just massive for the community to get that kind of win. We don't have any other major league sport. We don't have NHL, we don't have NFL. Like it is the NBA here.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's very cool. So it just really became a staple for the community, for sure.
And the Blue play there as well, right? The OKC Blue.
Yes. The Oklahoma City Blue, the G League team plays here as well. I don't know how many facilities really host both the
I thought that was
NBA and the
unique.
G
Yeah.
League team. That's an interesting question. But I worked with the G League team in Sioux Falls when I was in Sioux Falls, the Skyforce. I hosted them. So I kind of have a soft spot for a little bit of the G League teams.
As one should. That's usually where you get some really fun marketing ideas, because you're kind of like, let's see what we can throw at the wall,
Yeah. And I think people forget how cool it is to be able to see some rising talent. I mean,
sure.
The Sioux Falls Skyforce had Duncan Robinson on it before he joined the Heat, and now he's like a massive Heat player. But I was watching him on, in a small gymnasium in Sioux Falls for years before he went up. So it's really cool to be able to see that talent rise up from smaller teams.
Who's your competition in town?
I mean, in town, we don't really have competition. Our closest competition would be probably BOK Center in Tulsa.
Sure.
And then, of course, we route quite a bit with Interest in Wichita, and then down in Fort Worth and Dallas. But there's no other arena of our size. I guess slightly competition might be the football stadium in Norman, but again, that's a stadium, so they get stadium shows. Like,
right.
They have Luke Combs is doing his like college, stadium tour. Like we wouldn't have gotten that because we're not a college like stadium. So
Right.
it's not really competition, but yeah, so other arenas, I mean, there's a small arena out at the Oklahoma City Fairgrounds, but it's like a lot of fair events. They do, horse events and stuff like that. And I think they do have ice or the ability to do ice. So they have like Disney on Ice, but smaller arena. So they're not really doing the caliber of shows we're doing. So it's pretty much just Oklahoma City. It's pretty much just our arena here.
That's interesting. I mean, I guess I've never been to Oklahoma City, so the city itself, not yet, I will say,
Yeah,
maybe one day.
2028 maybe.
Yeah, 2028, right? I'm coming for the Olympics and see the new building. That'll be a
Yes.
fun visit. But what is kind of the lay of the land? Is it known for being a very obviously you've got all this history of these arenas, which is really cool, but are there different venue sizes? Sort of
Oh yeah.
what is the city if no one's ever been? Give it
Yeah.
not I'm not expecting you to tell me the history of the city, but like, yeah, like what do people go check out? If I'm coming for a week, where am I going?
You could totally dive into the actual history of Oklahoma City. It's super fascinating. But so again, I'm a transplant, right? I've lived here for 7 years, but I didn't necessarily grow up here. So I grew up in South Dakota, which is what I consider to be the Midwest. I know it's controversial. I know some people are like it's on the edge,
West
but
of
I
where?
consider it to be Midwest.
It is west for sure.
It is, yeah, right. So, and then I moved to Oklahoma City, and it's like almost got a little bit of an identity crisis because some people think it's the South.
Interesting.
But if
Yeah.
you've actually been to the South, you're like, that's not the South.
Right.
And then some people think it's Midwest, but if you grew up in the Midwest, you're like, that's not Midwest. It's like in between. But I always kind of say like it's got the Midwest vibe going to it where like life is still slow. Like people are still here to just like enjoy their time. It takes 20 minutes to get anywhere in town. Like it's not it's a small enough city to still be convenient, but large enough to give you the cool aspects of a city. So you've got the off-Broadway, you've got the Philharmonic and the ballet and the NBA team. But you also just have like the small town friendliness that you would get in what I would consider kind of like the Midwest. But yeah, we have great relationships with the other venues in town because we really do consider it like a building block. So you have everything from like Beer City and the Blue Door, which are like tiny 100, people venues, and then you've got Tower Theater, and you move up to the Criterion, and you can do the Zoo Amp, and then you've got like our arena. Like it really is kind of like a stepping stone, and it's so fun for me to see the artists that maybe I saw at the Criterion 3 years ago, and now I'm hosting them at the arena, and so it really is very cool, and then we're very again, just being that small town mentality kind of thing, we have such great working relationships with the other venues that we can work together in like promotions. I mean, if I hit up the Criterion and be like, AJR is playing the arena and they just played your facility 2 years ago, like how can we kind of work off of your database?
Yeah.
Or sometimes you'll see people headlining the Criterion who might also, just opened a show at the arena last year. And so how can we kind of like work together to hit that database? So
that's great.
It's very cool.
I love that kind of collaboration.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
You mentioned South Dakota, so let's talk about it. You went to South Dakota State University, and you were going to be a journalist or being a journalism major.
Well, I thought I was. So, and in high school, I really found my love for music, and I thought I was going to be like a music writer. Like the goal was to like go work at Rolling Stone or Spin or whatever, and hit it
Spin
that way.
magazine. I think you're the first Spin magazine reference on this podcast.
Spin magazine.
Really? Well,
I love Spin magazine.
Or Pitchfork.
Although it's not printed
whatever,
anymore.
Any one of those.
It's not. It's only online. Crazy.
Yeah. I mean, journalism in general has gone in an interesting way since I've been in high school. But this was also like pre-internet. So that's how old I am. So like like the internet didn't fully exist yet when it was just kind of coming about. So It was back when you went to the like actual record shops or whatever, and you bought the magazines and you watched MTV, and that's how you kind of discovered music. And so that's what I wanted to do, is I wanted to help people discover music through that. And then I went to college and I went for journalism, and I joined the college newspaper, and I was freelancing for a couple of organizations. And I quickly learned that that was not what I was going to do, because I really had a hard time being critical. I just wanted to like be positive about everything. Like,
Yeah, I get that.
This band is trying their best.
yeah.
That's all we can say.
But like, even if I don't like an album, that's not to say that somebody else won't. So like, who am I to sit here and judge you for like, I didn't like the rhythm of that drums when somebody 5 feet away from me could be like totally jamming out to it. And I really struggled with that. So I learned pretty quickly that that was not my path in life. But I had already started the degree and I was like, I don't want to go back, so I'm just going to finish the degree. And at the same time, I started working with like local promoters and started actually doing shows in Sioux Falls in the Brookings area, and really working with like local musicians to try to get, get their bands off the ground and get them booked and promote them. And that's kind of where I ended up finding my passion light a little bit more. Because that is like, that's telling, a positive story about anybody that comes through the doors. And so that's kind of how I found my love for marketing and promotion.
You had some success with writing. I mean, some Stream Music Press,
Yes.
Alternative Press. You were there for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
So do you have some of those articles saved? Like, are they actually cut out in a
I
bin
do.
somewhere?
I do have some of the old magazines and stuff like that. Yeah, I do. I don't visit them very often. But I used to do quite a few like interviews and stuff with up and coming bands and different people.
Yeah, I mean, and when you kind of got your first taste, like you said, of marketing in that window, whether it was your time with Daktronics, or even some of your little projects you did. And I say little, but
Yeah,
some benefit shows and things
they
like
were
that.
little. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but talk to me about that, how that taste for
Well, probably
marketing
huge at the
developed.
time, right?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think you've kind of mentioned it in this podcast before, of like, you have no idea how much actually goes into putting a show on in the background. Like when you're growing, like you go to a concert, but you never think
Right,
about
you're
like, oh,
just
somebody's,
presented. Here is
yeah,
the
somebody's back there
experience.
actually like placing the ads and doing the whatever. And so once I started getting more involved with like the local music in Brookings and in Sioux Falls, like in that local area, was when I started to realize like, oh yeah, like there's obviously people doing the work to make this stuff happen. And that was just fascinating to me. And so yeah, I mean I still was like a contributing writer for quite a few different things, and did like I helped bands kind of like write press releases and like put together their press kits if they were like releasing a new album or whatever, and
Sure.
just kind of did whatever I could to try to help musicians, because that was my way of like working in the music industry to a degree. So that was kind of how I jumped into it. And then, yeah, I started doing shows. I worked the door for many, many, many shows in small bars and fairgrounds. And this was when everything was like cash. And so I was up there with the cash box and just taking people's cash and giving them a wristband and wishing them luck. And yes, it was really cool. It was a whole different vibe back then. Like,
Sure.
I don't think you could get away with a lot of the things that you used to do back then. But and then at the end of the night, it's like taking your cash to a back room that was usually like a bathroom and counting it out with the artist or whatever. And here's your money, and
Yeah.
let's go take some shots and call it a night. So like it was
Right.
it was fun. It was very fun for my early 20s.
Are there any bands from back in those days that are just kind of fond memories of you, whether it was, kind of a flash on the pan band at the time, or ones that you've seen grow or something? But, what are some of your favorite memories that kind of flood back?
One of my biggest memories was there was like this kind of like an auditorium fairgrounds kind of building, like I can't remember what it was called at the time, but it's just like an open warehouse like building, right? That we would occasionally do
Sure.
bigger shows in, because there wasn't a facility built at the time that held more than a few thousand people. And we did a Gwar show
Oh,
Oh
there.
yeah.
yeah.
And I'd never heard of them before.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, people are really into this. And as somebody who's never heard of them, and again, like internet
I've
didn't
seen
come
Guar
to us,
live.
you can't just
Yeah.
YouTube it.
Yeah.
That was, I remember just kind of standing there being like, what? So what's happening now?
Right. Bring your poncho.
It was so interesting. And that was one of my fondest memories because I think that was also like a really good reminder of like, yeah, people are into totally different stuff. And
Hmm.
that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, I hadn't heard of this band, didn't really know anything about them. They're very niche, in my opinion, but like, we had thousands of people in a small town of Sioux Falls, South Dakota there. So it was just like a really good reminder that, like, just your preferences aren't what the world revolves around. And music is just so collaborative in that way. It's like anybody can find something that fits them, I think. So that one really stuck out to me as being a pretty cool experience for sure.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Well, so I mean, I guess that kind of led to your first official, venue gig, right? Where
Yeah.
you're a box office manager. You kind of got started on that side of things.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, I still have a love for local music and doing the small shows, but I also had bills to pay. And so I was looking for things that would help me pay off my student loans. And sure enough, we had it was just the Arena and Convention Center at the time. It was the Sioux Falls Arena and Convention Center. And I actually tell people this, like I applied for my job twice. So like the box office assistant manager position came open and I applied for it. And I didn't hear back, but at the same time I was like, no, this is my job. Like you guys, like this is it. This is my job. And so a week later it was reposted, but it had a different name, like a different contact. And so I sent in my resume again with an email of like, I already applied, but like, you know, the person changed and like we need to sit down, like I'm your person. And sure enough, within a couple days, I got the interview and within like a day got hired. And so it's like a really good story of like if you think you're fit, go for it and reach out because I knew at the moment I was like, this is it, this is my job. And so
Yeah.
yeah, I started in the box office. I did ticket sales. If any of you guys are familiar with like Ticketmaster, we called it like blue screen. So it was back when it was like all X's
Oh
and O's.
yeah. Yeah.
Yep. So I sat there and sold tickets
Some of
out of the
those
X and
like
O
old, I
system.
like when I worked at the arena, our GM at the time, who's since retired, but it's like he was such a slave to that system
Yeah.
that if you asked him like, "Hey, do you have any tickets?" It's like he knew there was a newer system, but he had to
Uh-huh.
always look it up in that way and bring up the rows, and it was all these X's. It was just like he knew it so well that that was his comfort food. It was really funny.
Yeah, it's such a good way to start though, because it makes me look at seating maps like so much more in depth and like be able to like really read them. Um, so, whenever we had an event, we had like an old dot printer, the ones like with the
Oh
like
yeah.
just the paper that continuously goes. And so the end of the night, I always had to print out reports on that. And whenever we had an event, we printed a seating map on that because again, like if the internet or something went down, there was no way to really like pull it back up. And I do remember we had a Sesame Street live show and it was an afternoon show. And sure enough, our power went out. And we had no way of accessing like Ticketmaster. Our computers, nothing worked. But the arena, like all of the electricity in the arena worked. So like they could still do the show, but everything outside wasn't working. And so we had three or four ticket sellers, and each one of them had a printed out map of X's and O's.
Oh my
And we
God.
just read that and sold tickets. And we took empty ticket stock and we took a black marker and we wrote where their seats were on this ticket
Wow.
stock. And sold them the tickets if they bought it with a credit card. We had an old school credit card swiper where you
Oh
put that
yeah.
down and
Yeah,
swiped
yeah.
the card and made copies of everything and logged our, cash purchases and stuff and continued to sell tickets off of basically paper. Which I'm sure a lot of people older than me are like, I've done worse things. I've had to do worse things.
Right.
Like, it was super interesting, and we sold we did a whole door like that basically, and then thank God electricity came back on before the next show, but so yeah, I started in the box office, and then a couple years later, there was an opening for the marketing position, and it was right before they were about to open the new arena. And I had already taken over a couple marketing things. I was doing the emails and stuff like that. So social media, I was kind of already helping out with that, some of that while it was being, you know, filled. And so I applied and yeah, jumped over to marketing and never looked back, I guess.
Yeah, nearly 8 years there.
Yeah.
And then, so tell me about that big transition from Sioux Falls to Oklahoma City.
Yeah. Sioux Falls is my home. I still consider it my home. I love Sioux Falls. I have no qualms about it. Loved that building. But after a while, especially when you're still kind of young in this industry, you're kind of looking at what that next step is. So my GM or my AGM at the time, who was in Sioux Falls, had left to go to Oklahoma City and be the general manager. And we were all very excited for him. And he came down here in 2018 and we had a interim AGM at the time, Les Crooks. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with Les Crooks, but very good guy, loved him. And he definitely helped me kind of like sit down and was like, well, what's next for you? Like, what do you want to do? And we kind of chatted. And sure enough, within a couple of months, Chris opened up a marketing director job here in Oklahoma City. And I was like, oh, well, I don't know. Like, Oklahoma City, like, who wants to go to Oklahoma City? Whoever thinks, like, oh, my 5-year plan is to move to Oklahoma City. You know what I mean? So I wasn't really sure about it, but he called me one day and he kind of talked to me about the position. And I was like, okay, I'll think about it. And I just remember going to Les one day and he knew the position was open. And I just walked into his office and I was like, so Chris called me. And Les just goes, God damn it. When are you leaving? Because I think he knew at the time. And I was like, yeah, it sounds like a pretty cool opportunity. And he's like, yeah, it is. So, went through the process, the interview process, came down to Oklahoma City, checked out the city, and just read about it and just fell in love with where the city was going and the progress that the city was making. And at the time, the convention center was still being built. So it hadn't opened yet, but there was so much progress for the city, like so many plans to grow. And I just thought it was the coolest thing. And so, I was ready for that sort of next step. And I love basketball. So I was like, an NBA arena sounds really cool.
Yeah.
So I ended up, getting the position and moving down here February of 2019. So almost 7 years ago.
It's what a great adventure that you've been on, and one of the things that you mentioned when we were talking to you before we recorded it is that you're doing this while also being a single mom.
Yeah.
And you said that was an important message you wanted to share.
Yes. So that's a whole nother aspect of this, right? So I remember kind of being in my like 20s and in this industry and I had a mentor back in Sioux Falls. Her name was Carmen. She was our event director and she kind of always said to us like, yes, this job is great. Yes, this job is important, but never let your life pass by before it. Like always remember like,
Good advice.
life still happens. And so she was always encouraging us to like go home, go hang out with like you don't have to be here for every single event. Make sure like you're living your life too. And so that was always in the back of my head. And growing up, I had always known there's some people that just like some people are probably on the edge, but I had always known that I wanted to have kids someday. There's some people who know that they never want to have kids, some people who are on the edge, but I knew that I always wanted to have kids. But I also really loved my job and I dive headfirst into my job when I, started. And so it was very important to me. And then I moved to Oklahoma City and I kind of had this whole thing in my head that I was going to give myself until I was 35 because that's kind of the age as women when they start telling you like, oh, you should probably decide what you want to do. So I was like, when I hit 35, I'll sit down. And if I'm not like, in a serious relationship or in any sort of path that I think is going to give me kids, like I'm going to sit down and think about if I want to do this on my own. It was always an option for me. I don't know why. Like I never even questioned. I was like, yeah, I will do it on my own if I have to. And then COVID hit in 2020, as we all know. And that was it was shortly before I turned 35. So still early 30s, but I think, and a lot of people probably can relate to this, but in the event industry, when all you do is events and suddenly that's taken away from you, it kind of gives you that moment of pause and is like, oh my gosh, like what am I if I don't have my job? Like what am I?
Right. Yeah.
What else is there? I was still new to the city. I didn't have any friends or family here, so I didn't have like a solid crew necessarily. And so it just kind of like gave me a really good, unfortunate downtime to think about like what I wanted next. And I talked to a couple other, friends and family about the idea, and I have a really good friend back in Sioux Falls that also became a single mother by choice, and had a good talk with her about the process, and it kind of felt like it wasn't even in necessarily question for me. I was like, yeah, this is it. Like this is the next move for me. So, we were coming out of COVID. I had a best friend hit me up and she was like, hey, I'm going to take this trip to Europe in, I think it was 2022. And she's like, I know everything's still kind of weird, but like, we were kind of, we were starting to come out of it. And she's like, I'm going to take this like week-long trip in Europe. I want you to come with me. And I was like, I don't know. I've kind of been thinking about having a baby, actually. I, I mean, you can do that too. And I was like, yes, you know what? I will go. And this will like, it'll be kind of like my last, not necessarily my last, but like a really good, like final solo trip kind of thing. And so we went and toured Europe, and I came home, and within like a year or so started putting all the process together of, yeah, becoming a single mother by choice, which is not easy in this industry. I will say that, but it's not impossible either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your kid is like the cutest kid.
Yeah,
Thank you.
tell us about the little one.
Look at Lucy's
so.
social media.
I know. So he actually turns 2 in 2 days. So obviously whenever this podcast comes out, he'll be 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I started really sat down. I'm a very like critical thinker. Like I don't jump into things necessarily. And so I sat down and I went through like my budget, and I was like, how am I going to afford this? And what's he going to do when I'm at work? And how am I going to work events and all this kind of stuff? And I am very thankful. I know that not everybody has the same situation. I'm very thankful that everybody here has been super supportive of my decision. I have a great boss who is like, yeah, absolutely. If this is what you want, do it. And friends and family who are very understanding, like nobody, like even when I said it, it's like nobody batted an eye. Like I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna have a baby, and they're like, oh, okay. Like it's such a normalized kind of thing now. And so everybody was very supportive, and people were coming out and like, just let us know how we can help you and how we can support. And yeah, so I went through the process, and I found a donor. Probably one of my unique standpoints, I guess, is that I have a known donor, so I like basically know who the biological dad is, and just went about doing it on my own, and had a great pregnancy. Cried a lot, but it was a physically very good pregnancy. And
I remember too, didn't like at one point you all had kind of this like this was pre-Legends, but when it was ASM and you had kind of your leadership together, didn't they throw you kind of
oh, yeah.
Which was so cute.
We were in Louisville. Louisville. Yeah,
Yes.
we were in Louisville. We were doing a regional because I'm a regional marketing director with Legends Global, and so we were doing a regional retreat. And it was one of my last trips because I was like into my 3rd trimester by then. And yeah, they threw me like a surprise little party, and I just cried the whole time. Because again, like it's just wonderful how many people just came out just so supportive. Like I thought people would be like okay with it, but the way that people came out just like overly supportive and happy for me was just so incredible. And I think that's, just a really big piece of it. And so yeah, they threw me a little shower, and then January of 2024 came around. We had a back-to-back Turnpike Troubadours sold out shows on January 19th and January 20th. And I went to the doctors a couple weeks before, and they were like, well, we're going to induce you. I was like, okay. So we set that date for January 20th of 2024. So on January 19th, I went into work and I worked an 18-hour show day. And then I
Oh,
told my team, see you in 3 months, and left and went in the next day. And he was born on the 22nd. But yeah, it's been amazing. I don't regret it for a minute. He's been the best. Being a mom has been amazing. And bringing him in and experiencing things at the arena is just so fun.
Oh yeah.
Um, and I actually have like a pack and play in my office. It just stays in my office because sometimes I'll have a babysitter like bail, or I can't find a babysitter and I need to be here, and he just comes into work. And sometimes I just put him down for a nap in my office or something, and we just make it work. And my teammates are amazing, and they'll hang out with him for 20-30 minutes if I have to like escort a photographer in, and then I come back and hang out with him some more. And he'll come in with me in the mornings if we need to set up the backstage area for a show. And he rides our pony cycles out into the concourse,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's amazing. It's really cool. And it's just one of those really cool things because, like, again, in this industry, I think it's really easy to get so intense with your position, and it does require a lot of work and hours from us. And so it's another like really good reminder of making sure that you're not letting your life pass by while your career, goes on. So if it's I'm not going to lie, it's hard, but it's not impossible, and it's so rewarding if you know that that's what you want.
that's awesome. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that story because I think there's somebody out there listening who's thinking about doing something similar, and I
Yeah.
think it's neat to hear those stories of success like yours.
Yeah. And I have had a couple people since they like know I've become a single mom of choice. I have had people reach out to me, thinking about the same thing or thinking about what their options are. And that's why I think it's important. It's one of those things that's important to talk about because it's more normal than you think. And there might be more people thinking about it, but they're not hearing people talk about it. And so it's hard to bring it up. So yeah, I think it's a really cool part of my story, and I'm always happy to talk about it.
That's great. Well, hey, before we wrap things up here today, I want to hit you with our fast five. It's just five quick questions, looking for your short, instant response.
Okay.
First up, what was your very first concert?
The first concert I remember going to was 98 Degrees at the Sioux Empire
Oh,
Fair.
nice.
It was a class.
What is do you have a favorite concert?
That I've attended, I'd probably have to go with Taylor Swift's Eras tour. It was just incredible. Besides that, I really love AJR. They put on such a cool show, and I've seen them at a small venue and our arena now.
They're great live for sure. What's one show you love watching with your toddler?
Oh, goodness. Uh, he doesn't really love Bluey yet. I'm trying to make him love Bluey.
But you love
Uh,
Louis.
but recently he's really been into it's called Trash Truck on Netflix, and it's literally about a
Oh,
trash truck that
Oh,
is friends with a little boy, and it's so adorable.
that's
So he's
great.
he's into
That's
that.
great.
It's a good one.
If it was up to you, what artist would you like to open the new arena?
Oh my
ooh, good question.
gosh, I was not expecting this question.
AJR.
No, I'm trying to think of like a real like it's so hard to think of who's going to be good in 2 years.
Right.
Like right now, if we opened a building tomorrow, we would never get Taylor Swift. So I would probably
Hey,
go with
never say never.
like a Chapel Rowan would be really cool, or
Oh
Sabrina
yeah.
Carpenter.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
All right, last question for you. What's your theme song? So there's a reality TV show where cameras follow you all around and your life. What's the song that plays over the opening credits of the Lucy show?
Right now, I think a song that I keep coming back to is "Everything Is All Right" by Motion City Soundtrack. If you're familiar
Great.
with them,
Oh, there you
Yeah.
go.
Minneapolis band.
Ocean City
Love them.
soundtrack.
They're one of my favorite bands ever, and that's a song I feel like that just constantly repeats in my head. It's probably that one.
Love it.
Love it. Hey, I look forward to having you back on Adventures in Venueland. Get like a year into the new building, and we can hear all about how things have gone. I think it'd be a great.
That'd be awesome.
A great follow-up episode, Paul, if you want to get that booked.
Yeah, yeah, we're going to pencil it in.
But for now, Lucy, if people want to follow you or what's going on there in Oklahoma City, throw out any plugs or anything you want to mention.
Yeah, I mean, business-wise, it's Paycom Center on pretty much everything. Personally, it's Lucy Rae, Lucyrae, on pretty much all the socials. You can find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and I would love, if anybody wants to hear more, too, about the journey with becoming a mother or just being a mom in the industry, hit me up.
Or just see really cute photos and videos.
Yeah, I'm pretty partial, but he's pretty cute.
He's adorable.
Wasn't there a video that I saw on your social just the other day where he like had insane static hair?
Yes.
I mean, it's the cutest
we were
video.
playing with like those like building pillow kind of things, and we made a fort, and he came out of it, and his hair was just sticking on its ends, and I was like,
so funny.
Get back in there, we're doing it again so I can film it, because it was so cute.
Yeah, exactly. The marketing hat went on. Exactly. We need to remember this.
I was like, oh my gosh, I need video evidence of this. Yeah, it was cute.
Thank you so much for your time today. It was really great getting to chat with you.
Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. I'm so excited to be a part of it.
And a big thanks to everybody for listening to this episode of Adventures in Venueland. Remember, you can subscribe and find more episodes wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. We do love your 5-star reviews because it helps other folks find us. Until the next adventure, I'm Dave Rettelberger.
And I'm Paul Hooper. Thanks for listening, everyone. Adventures in Venueland is a side project of the Event and Venue Marketing Conference, a marketing conference that brings together diversified event and venue professionals to cultivate education, collaboration, and innovation for the growing sports and live entertainment industry. Find out more at eventvenuemarketing.com.
Audio editing and mixing by Camille Faulkner.
Design and digital advertising by Megan Ebeck.
Copywriting and publicity by Samantha Marker.
Guest booking and brand strategies by Paul Hooper.
Guest research by Dave Rettelberger.
Marketing strategies by Paul Hooper, Megan Ebeck, and Samantha Marker. Thanks for joining us. Until the next adventure.